All right, hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to continue work in this fuel tank area. So last we left off, we secured and glued the rear closeout panel. We permanently applied the floor and tunnel shielding to the back of the panel, sealed it up with some urethane seam sealer. Now we're going to apply the dampening and sound and heat barriers on the inside of this panel. All right, so if that's of interest, stay tuned. All right, well, let's quickly cover the products we're using. So in a prior video, I covered applying the DEI floor and tunnel shield, and this is a fiberglass based product with an aluminum shield that's got a nice black finish, and acrylic glue, which is high temperature. This is going to be applied to all the external surfaces of the chassis. And then on the inside, I bought this product from Second Skin Audio. It's called Damplifier Pro. This is their thicker Damplifier butyl rubber based product. So that really stops the aluminum from ringing or resonating, and hopefully it doesn't sound like you're driving inside of an old steel garbage can. And then lastly, on top of the Damplifier, we're going to use a product from Dynamat called Dynaliner, and this is a closed cell foam product. You can buy it in 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, 1/2 inch thickness. In general, I'll use the 1/8 inch thickness on the inside of the interior. I just don't want to build up too much of a thick wall underneath the carpeting. In areas that I can apply a thicker version of it, then I'll use the 1/4 inch. I'll avoid using the 1/2 inch. This happens to be the 1/4 inch version of the product. And also this has an acrylic adhesive on it, which is high temp. And this product helps reduce overall sound and also keeps some amount of heat from the exterior penetrating into the interior. All right, so we'll walk through how to apply these products. Okay, well, the first thing you really have to do is make sure the metal is clean. So you can see, I've got some marks on the metal. Aluminum, especially this chassis has been sitting here for a few years, so it's built up some oxidation. So I use a stainless steel brush, a soft stainless steel brush on a power drill. I also use like 320 grit sandpaper on an orbital sander, and that does a good job quickly getting the oxidation off. And you can see I already put some Damplifier on the back panel. So I'm going to finish putting all the Damplifier on in this area. We'll take a look, and then we'll add the Dynaliner on top of that. Okay, well, we got the first pass all fitted up. It's really easy to cut. I just use some big scissors, put a little WD-40 on it, prevents the butyl rubber from sticking. You don't really actually have to cover every little bitty inch, but this is going to be a base for the Dynaliner, so I'd make it as constant as I could. All right, anyway, we'll put this on, we'll roll it. We use a roller to make it stick, and then we'll put a coat of Dynaliner on it. Okay, well, off camera, I took some of the Dynaliner and I cut it out. I actually cut this out before I glued the rear closeout panel in, but I'll show you how I'm going to mount this so it comes out accurate. Okay, well, now that the silicone glue dried on the panel, I actually made a bunch of studs. So you can see the studs down there. And basically those studs match up with the holes on the Dynaliner. So I'm just going to test fit it, and then I'll take the backing off, and then I'll slide it back on and it'll glue right in place. So let's take a look. Okay, I took the sticky back off, and it actually sort of relaxes the whole piece. I don't have to hold it down from curling. So hold my breath and let's see if I can get this thing lined up. You know, it's just sort of a little tricky because it's so sticky. That acrylic glue is very sticky, but let's see how it turns out. All right, the Dynaliner went on beautifully. It's actually pretty forgiving to work with. The glue, I think, is similar to the glue on the heat and tunnel shield where, you know, you can put it on, but if you sort of miss the alignment, you can pull it back off. And it takes about a day for the glue to set, and then taking it off is much more difficult. But anyway, look at that. Finished up with all the screws, all the holes lined up good, so I'm very happy with that. Let's get a sense for how effective all these products are when they're layered on top of one another. So this is the bare metal, then this is just Damplifier, and then this is both. Then if I hit it from the back. All right, so hopefully that'll keep the cabin relatively quiet, or at least just civilized, I guess. But anyway, let's focus here next. I'm going to show you how I put the Damplifier Pro over an area where I have existing holes, because this is sort of the whole dashboard area. I'm going to have to do it this way. All right, so that'll be next up. Okay, so this is how we make some blind holes in the Damplifier. So there's the piece of Damplifier we're going to put on in this area. And I basically just have some threaded studs that thread into those holes. And I sharpen the tops. I'll just use a soft mallet and tap them and indent the back of the Damplifier and then drill some holes in it. Okay, so there's the back of the Damplifier. I use that nice soft mallet. Just tap it on. I'll just oversize these holes a little bit. I always like to put a washer in between whatever I'm mounting in the Damplifier and the sponge, so it's actually metal on metal. It's actually not sitting on any of the insulation. Okay, so I drilled the holes out. I put some washers in. Anyway, that centers nicely, so I'll take the backing off and I'll stick it on and we'll continue working. All right, well, the Damplifier is all put in. Came out nice and neat. It really is very easy to work with. You can see it's also along the front panel there. That's sort of the way I decided to taper the sides, and they'll meet up with the front closeout panel. I'll cover that panel and modifications to that panel at a later time. So anyway, let's get the Dynaliner in this area and then we can call it a wrap. Okay, well, I'm done installing all the Dynaliner and it really came out great. It's a damn shame that this whole area is going to be closed up, never to be seen again, because to me it's a work of art. You know, it reminded me when I was a kid, my dad taught me how to hang wallpaper. He'd always lecture me, you know, you have to do a neat job. Well, those lectures sort of stuck, maybe to an extreme, but anyway, you know, this came out pretty good. Let me point out a couple things here. Let's see, got my trusty laser. Added some of the AN fittings. And I get those to sit nice and neat. I use a aluminum AN washer, and that acts as a trim ring and just compresses the Dynaliner without the nut tearing it. So the nut just sort of pushes the trim ring on. I added all the brackets that'll hold the fuel tank in place. Also put Damplifier and Dynaliner on the front edge there as well. And the last thing is I'm going to add some rubber weather stripping in that area, and that'll seal the fuel tank up so there'll be no air leaks. All right. Well, it was a bunch of tedious work. It was well worth it. I hope you enjoyed the video. And let's see, next up on the docket, you know, I'll install the fuel tank for the final time. And then I'm going to install the shifter cables. I actually have them sitting on top of the engine there. All right, so anyway, as always, Thanks for watching, and take care.